Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. We'll be learning about Booleans today. So the topic of Booleans is all about true and false, right? We'll be also diving into Boolean function, if and else with Boolean values. So sounds quite exciting. Let's move on. So what are Boolean values? When you evaluate an expression or a value, you can either be true or false. Here I have print 10 more than 20. So this will evaluate into false because 10 is not more than 20. Next, I have print 5 equals to 5, which evaluates to true, right? So you may be wondering why not one simple, but why we have two equal simple? Because one equal simple is the assignment operator, okay? It assigns value to variables as you've learned before. So if you just put one of these, Python will get very confused, right? So if you want to compare whether or not two values are equal, you use two of these symbols. Here I have the variable number 1 equals to 500, number 2 equals to 520. Print number 1 is less than number 2, which will evaluate into true because 500 is less than 520. As simple as that, okay? Next up, using if and else with Boolean. We have the same variable, number 1 and number 2. If number 1 is less than number 2, print number 1 is less than number 2. But if it is not, aka if it is more than number 2, print number 1 is more than number 2. We also have a cheeky little function. It will evaluate any value that you put within it. So you can evaluate a string, this would return true. You can evaluate an integer, return true. You can evaluate a variable, number 1, which is 500, also returns true. So a lot of values are true. Anything is true except for empty values, right? So empty values like empty string, the number 0. Same with list, tuple, set, dictionary, which you will learn in the future. They are just really a way of organizing data. Like if they're empty, they evaluate to false, okay? As well as the Boolean value false. False also evaluates into false. And then we have another value called none. It also evaluates into false because none really do match up with the concept of empty, okay? I hope that you understand that. Now let's move on to a function returning Boolean value. Here I have def, my function. This is the name of my function. And the function returns true if my function. So instead of saying if my function is true, you can simply say my function, okay? As long as it has something in it, it just evaluates into true. You can also simply write if true is true. If, you can just put like a string, if true. This also evaluates to true. If 50, right? This also evaluates into true. Any string or any numbers is true except for 0, except for empty ones, except for, false and none, right? Okay, let's go back to this. If my function is true, print is true. Else, print it is false. Okay, now let's have a little bit of a demonstration. I have my Python project file right here. Let's have number 1 equals to 20, number 2 equals to 40, Boolean function, number 1, print Boolean, hello world, okay. If number 2, print true. Else, print false. Let's have another one. If number 2 is equals to number 1, print equal. Else, print not equal. And now let's have a function. My function, no parameters, return false. Okay, if my function print my function is true, else print my function is false. Ctrl S to save, and let's run it. Okay, Boolean value of number 1 is true. Hello world is also true. If number 2, it will return true, right? Because as I've said, if you just put, like, I can replace this with a string, let's say. Yeah, I can make number 2 a string. It is still true. There's a typo over there, sorry. Let's run it again. If number 2 is equal to number 1, print equal. If not, print not equal, and it is not equal. Now, my function returns false. If my function is true, it returns true. If my function is false, it is false, and here it returns my function is false. Okay, how about we change this and make it true? My function is true. So thank you for being with me here today and finishing the lesson. Our next topic is going to be Python operators, right? We'll be learning all about the interesting stuff of assigning and whatnot. Remember, learn today, better tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Goodbye.